Welcome to the Advance Your Art podcast, where we talk about the journey from artist to entrepreneur and everything in between. You've worked hard to hone your craft. Now take it to the next level with tips, techniques, strategies, and routines used by successful artists to grow their businesses and careers. Now, let's get started and have some fun with your host, Yuri Cataldo.
Hello, Alex. Welcome to the show. How are you doing this morning on your side?
Well, thank you so much, Yuri, for just, inviting me to be on your show. And I'm doing very well, actually. I'm holding up. I have my cup of coffee right here with me. It's 1 a.m. all the way in Nigeria. But I'm very excited to just be joining you on your amazing show. So thank you so much for, inviting me.
It's my pleasure, and thank you so much for hanging out at 1 a.m. and sipping coffee while we chat. It's 7 p.m. in my part of the world, and I'm sipping a beer, so I think we even each other out that way.
Okay, so, yeah, I guess. I would rather be holding I would rather be sipping a beer right now, but, I need the coffee to stay awake, so hey.
Sure.
Thank goodness for that.
Excellent. I have been looking over your bio and looking over the tremendous body of work that you've done, and like narrowing down you to a few words is quite difficult. I'm going to ask you to do that. How do you describe yourself and what it is that you do?
Yuri, that is the hardest question to answer. I have a problem myself trying to, Alex, what do you do? Kind of takes me like 10 minutes because I'm thinking, what do I do again? Right. So it's kind of like a very difficult question to answer. But, I kind of found, I think it was recently, right, in the last 2 years, I found kind of like a very simple word to sort of describe who I am and what I do. And so I started calling myself an expressionist. And people ask me, what the heck is that? And I'm like, well, I just use different mediums of the art to express myself, right? Yeah. And they say, what? I'm like, yeah, well, I'm an actress and I'm a writer and I'm a talk radio host and I had a career, as a television personality and author and speaker and here's the thing, the common denominator is that, these are just different mediums, right? Mm-hmm. And these are different mediums of expression. And so whether I am in front of a camera or behind the microphone or I'm communicating or writing or whatever it is, I'm expressing, right? And hopefully I'm using that platform or that medium to empower people to take action. Mm-hmm. So really, I think, the easiest way to define myself is just to say I'm an expressionist. I'm an artist. The truth is I'm a creative, I'm an artist, but I've just coined a very nice word for defining who I am. So I just say I'm an expressionist. And then some people say, oh, she's the queen of expression. But truth is, I just love, arts, in general. And I just use all these different mediums to, express myself. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. And kudos for being able to put everything that you've done down to one word. That is in itself an accomplishment, a fantastic accomplishment. So congratulations.
Thank you, because it's always such a very hard question, like, Alex, what do you do? And, when you start to reel off all of these different titles, and let me call them titles, right, or roles or whatever it is, it starts to come up like you're bragging, right? Because you say I'm this and I'm this and I'm that, and probably boring the person who's asking the original question is like, oh, they're slipping off, and you're still saying, oh, I do this and I do this and I do that. So it was just so much easier to just say, oh, I'm this, and then the person goes, what does that mean? Like, they don't know what it means, so I have to find a way to kind of like explain without coming off like I'm bragging. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, in this instance, I actually want you to brag, so I'm totally okay with that. So I'd like to. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
So I was going to say because of the fact that you're so expressionistic and you're dabbling in so many different mediums, I like to try to start from the beginning. And is the beginning of where your journey started, is the journey to be an actress, or did it start in something else?
Ooh, okay. That's a bit weird. That's a very, okay, well, my journey into the creative industry, right? My journey, my career as an artist or in the creative business, the entertainment business, started as an actress. Yes, that is my claim to fame.
Okay.
And so I started acting. Well, actually what happened was I took part on a reality TV show. Okay, that's weird. So I was part of a reality TV show. Yes. My first stint on television was a reality TV show in 2005, I think.
Okay. What was it called?
It was called Amstel Malta Box Office, but it was kind of like the first reality TV show in Nigeria at the time, and it was focused on actors, right? It was focused on actors, so it was a reality TV show for actors, and so many people, people like over 20,000 plus people had applied to be part of the reality TV show. Now it's so funny because I kind of like entered for it by error. I didn't really, so it's so funny. I wasn't really, what happened was I had a little bit of a family tragedy at the time. My family house had gotten burnt down, and we were going through a very difficult time. At the time, I was working in my family business, right? My mom used to have a fashion, not used to, she still has it anyway, but she had a fashion company, and I worked with her for almost 12 years, running her business and managing and designing clothes and stuff like that. And so when the family house burned down, of course, all of us lost everything, and I was just none of us were in the mood to work, right? And I kind of just wanted a break. And so somebody brought a farm for this reality TV show, but the farm was brought for my sister, not me, my younger sister. And I kind of looked at it, I was like, my younger sister's not an actor, right? So I kind of took the farm and I filled it. But I wasn't really expecting anything to come out of it. It's just something I just did, and I totally forgot about it. And then I got a call back for the first audition. And then, I went through the first audition, and I still really wasn't really interested, right? I mean, I had always wanted to be an actor because I grew up in an artistic family. My father used to be a musician and all. Not used to, still a musician anyway. But, I keep saying used to, that I remember, so, I took part on I kind of went to the first audition, and I really didn't care what was going to happen. But then when I got the second callback, I think that's when I kind of it now became a challenge for me. So it was like, okay, hey, you've come too far to, to drop out of this, right? You kind of want to go all the way. So it started becoming more of a challenge to me, because it was first something I just without really thinking of. And then the moment I went through the first audition and got the second call back, I was like, wait a second. This is for real, right? And then I got the third call back, and then eventually I got to the house. So out of 20,000 plus, people, I was one of the 10 people who were invited to do the show, and then, broadcast to the entire country. And so that was how, should I say, my career started really, because it was right during the, just going through because of course there were lots of, performance classes and stuff in the training to be an actor. I think it was through all of that and the elimination and all of that, and, people voting and calling and stuff like that I kind of realized that I could actually build a career, and I wanted to do this for real. So it was right off after the television, the reality TV show, that I started my career as an actress. Okay, wow.
So during this reality show, they taught you how to become an actress and led you through that process?
Yes, they did, because, we had presentation coaches, performance coaches, acting coaches. We had the best, what we would call our iconic actor, legend. So yes, they were teaching us through all of that. We had to learn, monologues and everything that you need to know, basically to be an actor. So I guess through all of that, right, and through keeping people up awake just to watch you and, and all of that, and then you realize that, maybe I don't suck at this. I could try this. I could really try this. And I was getting bored doing the job that I was doing. And even though I loved fashion and I loved working with my mom, I'm a creative and I don't like restriction, right? So I kind of just wanted to go express, another side of me and the creative side of me. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, while you were on the show, what was your favorite monologue?
Yuri, you want to throw me on? Oh my God. I don't remember. This is 13, 14 years ago. I was like, what?
Okay. Well, I thought I would try.
Oh, I wish I could. Oh my God. That would be, let's see. Yuri, no.
All right, well, maybe we'll come back to that later.
Conversation. Exactly,
right.
maybe.
It'll just come.
Right.
I was hoping it'd be like some kind of like deep Shakespearean monologue. If you're like Lady Macbeth, like out damn spot or something like that.
We don't want to bore the listeners, do we? We don't want to slip enough an Oscar because it's gonna go like, what the heck? We're in 2018. What's talking about like what? Shakespeare? Right. No.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay. I have a few actors and actresses who listen to the podcast, so they may be writing you separately to talk about monologues. Be prepared.
Well, that would be awesome, and we can just start our own club, our own Yuri fan club, actors fan club, Yuri actors fan club, something. We could just start something like that.
I like that. You could be the president and I think this is a brilliant idea, and we'll definitely get this started.
I'm nominating myself already.
You already have. You volunteered and nominated yourself as the leader of this fan club, and I will just let you go from there, and I will sign whatever you'd like me to. I think that's a great way to begin fan clubs, I think. So after this reality show you worked on, how did you transition then into getting involved more in your television projects, the movies, the series that you end up working on? How did those happen?
Well, you know how it is. Like, okay, so you get out of television, right? You get off a television show, and then you walk down the street, and people are like, "Oh, I know you." Oh, I voted for you, and yeah, and you get all of that. But the truth is, you still kind of have to build relationships within the industry. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was, because one of my performance coach, right, or our performance coach, he was. He is a veteran actor and, an iconic actor here in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. He was kind enough to give some of us recommendation, right? So I'm sure there are a few people he thought were really great actors on the show. And so he would send, say, hey, you need to, there's this audition going on. I think you need to go. Or he would, ask the director and say, hey, you might want to audition, this person, and audition Alex. I think she's great. Maybe you should try out and see if she's good for the part. And so it started with that, I think. Oh God, I hope I remembered this correctly, but I think it really started with, being invited, being recommended, and, I would go and read for parts. And I think I did my first, that's not how it happened actually. I'm not sure. But I do remember that happening at some point. It's so funny. You don't even remember the beginning of your character, but I do remember that happening at some point. But I think that my first film I remember was, I think this was shot in 2006. And then it was done by a production house who had done another reality TV show, which is a bit weird. And so, they wanted, character and, they just said, hey, she's, let's have her. And I came, I saw the script and, read the part, and the director's like, she's good, let's use her. And I think that's it. But to be honest, I think for myself, my own career, a lot of my work have come from recommendation, right? Somebody who's worked with me on a project, right? Who said, oh, you need to work with Alex, or somebody who's seen. I think really a lot of that. Truth is, I was never the actor who really went to auditions and just slayed. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I was never the one who went to auditions and like, let's read and get the part. Yeah. Not really. But, a lot of it came from recommendation, people who've worked with me on projects, and sometimes it's not just the actors. Yeah, a lot of the actors, but sometimes another director, or maybe even the crew. It's funny how we downplay the crew. But the truth is, the crew, they're watching you. Like, they're really, really watching you. So, and I think also, the kind of relationship you build with people, a lot of actors who get on set and they're kind of like rude, or they don't care, or they're just, very, just not present, very uppity or whatever it is. But I think that, the kind of relationship, how you interact with other people and how you respect what role they play, whatever role they're playing, right? I think that is so important. I think that's how I've been able to get jobs, really.
Okay. So of all the things that you've done, the roles that you've played, what has been your favorite character so far?
Oh my goodness. This one is a hard, it's so funny. Oh God. Okay, so let's see. Oh God, my favorite role. Mm-hmm.